For thousands of years, the galaxy had believed one thing: humans were too weak to survive deep space. Too emotional. Too chaotic. Too unpredictable. In the grand halls of alien governments, humans were spoken of as a joke. In war councils, they were dismissed as primitive bipeds who barely understood quantum travel. Even in peaceful zones, aliens whispered that Earth's species would never last beyond their little solar system. The galaxy was full of ancient empires, like the Tyrrhic sovereignty, rulers of plasma warfare, the Valorian Union, masters of hyperspace bending, and the Kraxan hierarchy, a race born inside neutron star pressure. Compared to them, humanity was a young flame flickering in the wind. But everything was about to change. The fateful meeting. At the Galactic Assembly, on the golden world of Solaria Prime, hundreds of alien delegates gathered in a vast chamber shaped like a spiraling star. Human diplomats sat quietly at the edge, their navy blue uniforms looking plain against the glowing robes of other species. Whispers echoed across the room. Humans? Why are they here? They can't even survive dark matter storms. Send them back to their little blue planet. The humans ignored the murmurs. They were used to it. Then the assembly leader, a tall crystalline being named Alix, shimmered as it spoke. A dangerous anomaly has appeared at the edge of the Andromeda Passage, Alix announced. A dark space rift. No known species has been able to enter it and return. Silence fell. Everyone knew the rift. It devoured ships. It shredded hulls. It broke minds. Alix continued, "We require volunteers to investigate. All nations may send one ship." The room stayed silent. No one wanted to risk their elite craft or their elite crews. Then, slowly, the human commander stood. Commander Elena Rain. She wore no glowing armor, no ornate crest. She looked simple, almost fragile, next to towering alien generals. "I volunteer the UNS Horizon," she said firmly. Laughter rippled through the chamber. A Tyrrhic warlord thumped 4 fists on the table. "Your ships are toys. They will break before they even touch the rift." A Valorian delegate floated upward with a soft hum. "You humans cannot endure the gravitational tearing. Are you trying to get yourselves erased?" Elena raised her chin. "We have survived worse than anyone realizes. And what makes you think you can do what we cannot?" Alix asked. Elena's answer was simple. Because humans adapt. The room fell quiet. Back on Earth. When news of the mission reached Earth, panic spread first, but then something else followed. Determination. People across the planet gathered to watch the UNS Horizon prepare for launch. Engineers worked day and night. Students in universities sent last-minute data models. Retired astronauts came out of hiding just to advise. The Horizon was not the biggest ship in the galaxy, nor the strongest, nor the most beautiful, but it was human. A masterpiece of patched ideas, bold engineering, and raw determination. A ship built not by one nation but by the whole species. Its hull was reinforced with newly invented adaptive nanosteel. Its engines were a mix of ion thrust, quantum skipping, and an experimental drive that humans still didn't fully understand, but believed in, because that was the human way. The launch. On the day of departure, Earth's skies glowed as the Horizon lifted beyond the atmosphere, engines roaring like ancient thunder. Inside the ship, the crew strapped in. Commander Elena Rain, calm, sharp-minded, unshakable. Dr. Malik Soren, physicist, genius, once laughed at by alien scholars. Ava Locke, pilot with impossible reflexes and a reputation for surviving missions no one else could. Sergeant Orion Kale, towering soldier, rumored to have punched a combat droid into pieces during training. As the ship accelerated into warp, Elena opened a channel to the entire galaxy. "This is the United Nations ship Horizon," she said. "Humanity is entering the rift." Aliens across thousands of worlds watched with pity. "They won't make it. They're committing suicide." Foolish, fragile species. But humanity wasn't listening. They were focused. Approaching the anomaly. The rift appeared in front of them like a swirling wound in space, black, shifting, breathing. Lightning-like tendrils reached outward, tearing holes in reality. Even the crew felt fear. "Gravitational spikes rising," Malik whispered. "Structural stress at 97%, Ava reported. "Shields flickering." Kale shouted. Elena leaned forward. "Hold steady. Humans don't turn back." The Horizon pushed deeper. Space bent. Light twisted. The ship groaned like a living beast. Alarms flashed. Panels sparked. A normal ship would have already collapsed. But the Horizon wasn't normal. It was human. And humans had a strange habit. They survived things they had no right surviving. The moment that shocked the galaxy. Every alien government monitored the horizon signal. At first the screens showed static, then distortion, then nothing. Galaxies held their breath. Humans are gone, whispered a Craxan analyst. But suddenly, a bright pulse exploded across the sensors. A voice came through. Commander Elena Rain. We have crossed the boundary. And, we're detecting something inside the rift. Aliens leaned forward, stunned. What? They made it? Impossible. No species has ever. Elena continued. It's not a storm. It's not random. Someone built this. Pause. A deep, chilling pause. Then she said something that changed the galaxy forever. We are not alone in here. The moment Commander Elena Rain's voice echoed across the galaxy. We are not alone in here. The universe froze. Across thousands of star systems, alien governments turned their attention to the human mission they had mocked just hours before. Holographic councils flickered to life. Special forces scrambled. Spies activated shadow networks. The Tyrrhic sovereignty declared the humans must be monitored. The Valorian Union demanded a scientific review. The Craxan hierarchy suspected a trap and prepared war fleets. Humanity, once irrelevant, had suddenly become the most interesting species in the galaxy. Inside the rift, the UNS Horizon drifted through the dark expanse, surrounded by swirling currents of purple and black energy. Light bent like water. Gravity pulsed like a heartbeat. Malik stared at the scanners. This place, it's not natural. The gravitational signatures are organized. Structured. Ava piloted carefully, hands steady on the holographic controls. Feels like we're inside something alive. Kale checked his armor and weapons. Good. If something moves, I punch it. Elena watched the strange patterns outside the window, long, sharp shapes like metallic ribs extending through the void. It's a megastructure, she whispered. An artificial one. Malik swallowed hard. But who could build something inside a dark space rift? It requires energy beyond anything known. Elena answered with a calm that masked her fear. Someone older. Someone smarter. Or someone desperate. The first contact inside the rift. A bright spark appeared ahead, small, flickering like a dying star. Then sensors screamed. A ship emerged. Long, thin, curved like a blade. Black surface reflecting no light. No windows. No visible engines. Ava gasped. It just materialized. Malik whispered, quantum phase shift. Whoever they are, they're using tech millennia ahead of us. The alien ship aligned itself in front of the horizon, motionless, silent. Then a voice filled the bridge. Not through speakers. Not through comms. Directly into their minds. Visitors. You enter the grave of stars. Kale drew his weapon instantly. I don't like voices in my head. Elena stood firm. This is Commander Elena Rain of the United Nations ship Horizon. We come in peace. Silence followed. Then the voice returned, colder. Peace is a lie here. The alien ship vanished. Teleported. No flash. No distortion. Just gone. Malik's hands shook. They're monitoring us. Watching everything. Elena stepped forward. Then we keep moving. Galactic chaos. Back in normal space, panic erupted throughout the galaxy. Alex, the crystalline assembly leader, summoned every faction immediately. The golden chamber blazed with holograms and angry voices. Tyrrhic warlord Gorik slammed his fists. The humans must not gain access to unknown superweapons. That rift could hide power to collapse galaxies. A Valorian scientist floated upward, glowing softly. Or knowledge. They could surpass us. A Craxan general rumbled like an earthquake. They already crossed the rift. Something even we could not do. That makes them a threat. Alex raised glowing arms. Order. We will not attack humanity. Gorik snarled. Not yet. The assembly agreed to send recon ships, but no further interference. Still, secretly, many factions prepared fleets. Humanity had suddenly become a wild card in galactic politics. A wild card no one trusted. Back in the rift, the city of light. The horizon finally reached the heart of the megastructure. A glowing sphere the size of a moon floated in the void. Cities covered its surface, towering spires, bridges of light, circular temples rotating like gears in a clock. But everything was dark. Empty. Abandoned. Ava whispered, this entire place is dead. Malik analyzed readings. No life signs. No power. But the architecture, it's at least 1,000,000 years old. Kale frowned. So why the creepy voice earlier? Before anyone could answer, the ship's lights flickered. A hologram appeared on the bridge. A humanoid figure, tall, robed in shifting light. Its face was hidden. "Who are you?" Elena asked. The figure spoke with the same cold voice. "We are the myriads, or what remains of us." Malik stepped forward. "You built this place?" "Yes. And we died here." A chill ran through the crew. The hologram continued. "The rift was our sanctuary, and our tomb. We fled something unstoppable." Elena asked softly. "What were you running from?" The myriad's voice broke, like static over tears. "The devourer." Ava whispered, "That doesn't sound friendly." The hologram flickered violently. "It consumes stars. It hunts civilizations. And now, it has detected you. A warning too late." Outside the horizon's windows, the rift began to tremble. Purple storms raged. Energy spikes surged like electric hurricanes. Massive shadows moved in the distance, shapes that should not exist. Malik's voice cracked. "Something's coming." The myriad raised a ghostly hand. "You should have never come. You have awakened the ancient hunger." Elena clenched her jaw. "What does it want?" The myriad answered with a whisper that chilled the human soul. "It wants what all monsters want, the brightest flame." Ava blinked. "What flame?" The myriad pointed directly at Elena. "Humanity." The bridge of the UNS horizon fell silent as the myriad hologram's final word echoed. "Humanity." A cold weight settled over the crew. Elena Rain stood tall, her eyes fixed on the fading projection. "What do you mean it wants humanity?" she asked. The myriad's shimmering form flickered, unstable, as if the rift itself struggled to keep the ancient echo alive. "Your species burns bright," the hologram said. "Too bright. Adaptation, creativity, defiance. We believed we were the peak of evolution, until we saw humans." Ava swallowed. "We never even left our corner of space until a century ago." "Exactly," the myriad replied. "You evolved too fast. Grew too strong too quickly. You defied every limit. Something like you should not exist." Kale frowned. "I like how we scare extinct civilizations. Makes me feel important." But the myriad's tone grew darker. "The devourer feeds on potential. On rising species. When we grew too strong, it found us. It tore our empire apart star by star. We hid in this rift, hoping to outsmart the hunger. But even this sanctuary was not enough." Malik trembled. "How big is it? What are its weapons? Can it be reasoned with?" "It is not a creature you defeat," the hologram said. "It is a force. A cosmic instinct. It grows stronger with every civilization it consumes." Elena stepped forward, steel in her voice. "Can humanity survive it?" The myriad hesitated. A long, painful silence followed. "You are not ready." Then the hologram disintegrated into shards of light. Moments later, the rift trembled as if a giant hand had struck its walls. The first signs of the devourer. Ava's fingers danced across the controls. "I'm picking up gravitational distortion. Massive. Bigger than anything I've seen." Malik stared at the readings, unable to comprehend. "This can't be real. The mass, it's bigger than a moon." "No, bigger than a planet." Kale squinted at the shifting shadows outside. "Looks like a mountain floating in the dark." But it wasn't a mountain. The silhouette moved. It had limbs, vast, tendril-like appendages made of pure gravitational force, dragging through the void like celestial chains. Where its face should be, space itself twisted inward, as if reality were being pulled through a hole. As it drifted closer, stars behind it vanished. Not blocked. Erased. Ava whispered, "It's feeding." Elena remained calm, her voice steady despite the horror before them. "Prepare engines. We're leaving." Malik grabbed her arm. "Commander, if we escape it might follow us. Straight into the galaxy." Elena paused. That was the truth. Humanity's survival could doom everyone else. Kale stepped closer, determination in his eyes. "So what's the plan? Fight this thing?" Malik stared at him. "You want to fight a cosmic apex predator that eats suns?" Kale shrugged. "Better than letting it think we're a snack." Elena exhaled slowly. "We're not fighting it, not yet. First we understand it." Galactic politics explode. Far across the galaxy, in the shining chamber of the Galactic Assembly, chaos erupted. Alex projected a massive hologram of the rift trembling with unknown energy. "This is the disturbance recorded moments ago," Alex announced. "We believe it is connected to the human explorers." Immediately, accusations flew. Warlord Gorik roared, The humans awakened something catastrophic. The Valorian scientist hummed nervously, glowing brighter. If they bring this threat toward our borders, we must quarantine Earth. A Kraxan general slammed the table. Quarantine? No. Earth must be destroyed before the threat reaches us. The room erupted in shouts. Alex lifted a crystalline arm. Enough. We do not know what is happening. For now we observe. But secretly each faction formed shadow plans. Tyrrhic spies prepared sabotage against human fleets. Valorian scholars began decoding human brain patterns. Kraxan warlords sent stealth dreadnoughts toward the Sol system. And at the edge of the hall, a tiny human diplomatic team listened, horrified. For the first time in history, the galaxy feared humanity, not because of what they were, but because of what followed them. Inside the rift, the first attack. The Devourer shifted its colossal bulk, and the rift screamed. Waves of dark energy rippled outward, slamming into the UNS horizon. Shields down to 42%. Ava shouted. Malik's voice cracked. It's analyzing us. Studying our structure, our energy signature. It wants to understand us before it feeds. Kale grinned despite the terror. Let it study. It's not ready for humanity. The ship rattled violently as tendrils of gravity whipped around it. Elena steadied herself and spoke with deadly calm. Ava, full power. We break free now. Ava punched the controls. Engines roared, light bending as the horizon forced itself forward. But the Devourer reacted instantly. A beam of raw gravitational force struck the ship, throwing it sideways. Sparks exploded. Panels burst. Smoke filled the air. Kale grabbed a railing. Commander, we need a counterattack. Malik shouted over alarms. I have an idea, but it's insane. Elena turned to him. Perfect. Humans are good at insane. Malik's plan. The physicist typed furiously on his holographic console. If we overload the quantum skip drive inside the rift, it might destabilize the creature's gravitational grip. Not enough to kill it, but enough to push it back. Ava stared. That could tear us apart. Malik nodded. Or it could save us. Elena looked at her crew, bruised, exhausted, terrified, but unbroken. Do it. Kale grinned. That's why humanity survives everything. We fight with broken bones. The detonation. Malik hit the final command. The quantum skip core glowed white-hot, energy rising beyond safety limits. Elena shouted. Brace for impact. The core detonated in a burst of spatial shockwaves. The rift twisted violently. The Devourer recoiled, pulling its massive form backward like a wounded titan. Ava seized the moment. Punching through. The horizon rocketed forward, engines burning blue and gold. They broke through a final wall of gravitational turbulence. And suddenly, they were out. Stars returned. Normal space. Freedom. But Malik whispered the words everyone feared. It's following us. The UNS horizon emerged from the rift like a wounded phoenix. Smoke trailing from its hull, alarms screaming, engines flickering. But they were alive. Kale let out a breath. I can't believe that worked. Malik collapsed into his chair. We didn't win. We just made it angry. Ava scanned the space behind them. The rift is destabilizing. Tendrils of gravitational energy, they're extending outward. Elena felt her stomach turn. Then we don't have much time. Malik, is it still tracking us? He nodded slowly. Like a shark to blood. Silence fell. Humanity had awakened something it could not yet understand, let alone defeat. The signal heard across the stars. The moment the UNS horizon re-entered normal space, every sensor network in the galaxy detected the burst of energy behind them. On Kraxan war hymns. On Valorian peaceful broadcasts. On Tyrrhic military channels. Even pirate networks and outlaw clans stopped their transmissions in awe. The rift was expanding. A tear in the universe, growing. Hungry. Alex called an emergency assembly session, even larger than before. The chamber glowed with fear. There is a threat approaching, the leader announced. A threat older than our empires, greater than our fleets. Gorik roared, and the humans are responsible. The Valorian scientist floated upward, shimmering uncertainly. Perhaps they brought the danger, but they also survived. We could learn from them. A Kraxan general slammed a clawed fist on the table. No. We will destroy Earth now before the Devourer uses it as a foothold. The words sent shockwaves across the chamber. Earth's ambassador, Maya Solari, stood from her seat. Her voice shook, not from fear but rage. Humanity risked everything in that rift. Without us you would still be blind. And your response? You want to kill us. Gorik snarled, your species is reckless. Humanity survives the impossible, she replied. That scares you. Murmurs spread. Because it was true. Humans frighten the galaxy, not because of their weakness but their unpredictable strength. Inside the UNS Horizon, new data, new fear. Back aboard the Horizon, Malik projected a holographic display in front of the crew. This is what I managed to record from inside the rift, he said. The Devourer, it isn't a creature. Not fully. Ava raised an eyebrow. Then what is it? Malik zoomed in on a swirling black mass shaped like a twisted star. It's a fusion of biology and cosmic physics. A living gravitational singularity. Kale frowned. So basically, a black hole with anger issues. Malik ignored him. It adapts just like we do. Every star it consumes, every species it destroys, it evolves. Elena's voice was steady. What does it want with us? Malik swallowed. Humanity grows too fast. Too unpredictable. To the Devourer, we're not prey. He paused, face pale. We're competition. The room went cold. The first vision. Without warning, the ship's lights dimmed. A low hum resonated through the hull. Not mechanical. Not electrical. Something alive. Ava froze. What's happening? Malik checked readings. No idea. This isn't any energy signature I know. A voice filled the bridge. Not the myriad. Not a broadcast. Something speaking through space itself. Little sparks, you run. The voice was everywhere. In their minds. In their bones. Elena steeled herself. Devourer. The shadow of a colossal shape appeared on the main screen, still deep within the rift, but pushing closer. You shine too bright, the voice whispered. Your light hurts me. And so, I will consume you first. Kale gripped his rifle. Over my dead body. There was a pause. Then, yes. The presence vanished. Ava exhaled shakily. I've been piloting since I was 6. I've never felt something like that. Malik nodded. It touched our minds. Sampled our consciousness. That's how it tracks us. Elena spoke with quiet fury. Then we remove its path. Humanity's emergency transmission. Elena opened a galaxy-wide broadcast channel, something no human had ever dared before. Thousands of alien civilizations watched her appear on their screens. This is Commander Elena Rain of the UNS Horizon, she said. Her face was bloodied, her uniform torn, but her voice was pure steel. A cosmic-level predator is moving toward your borders. We didn't bring it. It always existed. But now we know how it thinks. Gorik appeared on the split screen. You dare speak after endangering us all? Elena stared him down. I dare because humans don't run from monsters. We face them. Alex joined the channel, crystalline voice trembling. What do you propose, Commander? Elena turned to her crew, then back to the galaxy. A united response. A single coalition fleet. Not to fight it head-on, but to stall it while humanity builds something stronger. A Valorian scholar asked, build what? Elena answered, hope. The Devourer breaks through. Suddenly, every sensor in the chamber and on the horizon spiked at once. Malik screamed, it's happening. It's crossing the boundary. The rift exploded in a wave of dark light. Gravity shockwaves rippled across systems. Stars flickered. Space trembled. A colossal shadow emerged. Long tendrils curled around fragments of broken space. A hollow maw pulled in starlight like smoke. Kale whispered, awestruck, we woke up a god. But Malik corrected him. No. A god doesn't need to eat. Elena's final words of the chapter. She stared at the approaching cosmic horror, jaw clenched, back straight. Then it made a mistake, she said softly. Ava blinked. What mistake? Elena turned to her crew, eyes burning with determination. It came after humanity. The Devourer crossed into normal space like a storm entering a calm sea. Stars dimmed. Planets trembled. Even time felt slower, as if reality itself was bracing for impact. On the bridge of the UNS Horizon, alarms screamed with rising panic. Malik shouted, the gravitational field is expanding, 20 light-minutes wide and growing. Kale squinted at the monstrous silhouette. Looks bigger than the last time. Malik nodded, pale. It evolves every minute. It's learning us. Ava tightened her grip on the controls. And we're supposed to stall that thing until the galaxy decides what to do? Elena's jaw hardened. No. We force the galaxy to follow us. The coalition that shouldn't exist. Across the galaxy, civilization scrambled. Valorian fleets, shimmering with light, altered their peaceful formation. Cracks and dreadnoughts awakened from centuries of hibernation. Tyrrhic warbeasts were unleashed. Even minor species who hated each other sent ships. Not out of unity, but survival. Alex appeared on billions of screens. Civilizations of the galaxy. We face annihilation. The humans have given us intelligence we did not have. We must fight, together. Warlord Goric growled. Then put humans at the front. They started this. Earth's ambassador Maya Solari spoke sharply. We didn't start it. We're the first to stand against it. A moment of silence. Even Goric couldn't argue. The galaxy, for the first time in 1,000 years, formed a single task force. The Interstellar Coalition Armada. Over 8,000 ships. Dozens of species. Millions of soldiers. And at the core of the formation, one human vessel. The UNS Horizon. A plan that terrifies everyone. Inside the Horizon strategy room, star maps hovered above the table. Malik pointed at a rotating projection of the Devourer. We can't kill it. We don't have the energy output of a star. Kale crossed his arms. Then what can we do? Ava gestured at the swirling distortion around the creature. That's its feeding range? Yes, Malik said. But notice this, during feeding its outer field weakens. Only slightly but enough. Elena caught the idea instantly. You want to starve it? Malik nodded. Exactly. We can't destroy it, but we can deprive it long enough for the coalition to strike in coordinated bursts. 1,000 attacks at the same microsecond. Ava blinked. That timing is impossible. Elena answered calmly. Not for humans. The crew looked at her confused. She smiled. Because we cheat. Human trickery, the sync lattice. Elena revealed a small silver device. This is a quantum sync lattice. Humanity developed it for deep space rescue operations. Malik grinned. Ah, that's brilliant. Kale wasn't following. What does it do? Malik explained. It forces every ship connected to it to share temporal data. They sync their timing to the horizon in real time. No lag. No drift. Ava's mouth dropped. That means every coalition ship fires at the exact same instant. Elena nodded. And we hit the Devourer where its feeding shell is weakest. Kale thumped his chest. Humanity, the galaxy's greatest cheaters. The first strike. As the coalition fleet formed a massive crescent around a distant star, the Devourer approached. Too quickly. Alex's voice traveled through every ship. All fleets, prepare to fire. Follow human timing protocols. The sync lattice pulsed with blue light. Elena commanded. Arm all payloads. Kraxan warlords roared. Valorians glowed like miniature suns. Tyrrhic warbeasts howled across their carriers. The Devourer's tendrils curled outward, preparing to feed on the nearby star. Elena spoke a single word. Fire. Thousands of beams erupted in perfect harmony. White light pierced the void. Explosions rippled across the Devourer's outer shell. For the first time in recorded history. It staggered. Kale grinned. We made it bleed. Malik corrected him. It doesn't have blood. That's gravitational shrapnel. Kale shrugged. Still counts. The Devourer responds. A deep vibration rolled across space. The Devourer's tendrils extended, sweeping across the crescent formation. Ships vanished instantly, folded into nothingness. Entire Kraxan cruisers were pulled like metal dust into a planetary maw. Ava gasped. It's adapting again. Malik's face turned white. It absorbed the frequency of our attack. It's learning our pattern. The Devourer opened its singularity maw wider, and aimed directly at the star the fleets were orbiting. Elena realized too late. It's going to consume the star. Malik shouted. And when it does, it'll jump in power exponentially. Kale whispered. It'll be unstoppable. Humanity's gambit, Operation Eclipse. Elena raised her voice above the chaos. Pull all ships back. Focus on the horizon. Alex appeared on the main screen. Commander, explain. Elena spoke quickly. The Devourer expects us to protect the star. So we won't. A stunned silence filled the bridge. Ava whispered, You want it to eat the star? Elena nodded. Yes, but on our terms. Malik understood instantly. The star is unstable. A red giant about to collapse. Elena continued. If we accelerate the collapse, push it into supernova, we create a directed gravity shock. Kale grinned wide. Which will punch the Devourer in its stupid cosmic face. Alex stared in disbelief. You humans, you gamble with stars? Elena smiled faintly. We evolved gambling. The stellar charge. The horizon flew dangerously close to the red giant. Ava's hands shook. Any closer and we cook. Malik triggered the Starlance emitters. Beams of energy struck the star's surface, stimulating magnetic fields. The star trembled. Grew brighter. Louder. Kale braced himself. Come on, big guy. Swell up. The devourer sensed the shift. It turned its maw toward the swelling star, believing it was about to feast. Elena whispered, take the bait. The supernova. The star collapsed inward, then erupted. A shock wave of pure gravitational force blasted outward. The devourer took the hit full force. It reeled, screamed, pulled its tendrils inward. For the first time, it retreated. Ava gasped. We hurt it. Malik shouted. No, more than hurt. We stunned it. Elena raised her chin. Then this is our moment. She stood tall, eyes blazing with fire. Humanity leads the final strike. The galaxy had never witnessed anything like the human counteroffensive. Hours after the destruction of the Corvian dreadnought, every major news network across the Orion Arm poured out frantic reports. Holographic screens in alien cities replayed the footage again and again. A small, battered human ship reducing a colossal war engine into stellar dust. Billions of aliens argued, panicked, whispered, but one phrase kept returning. Humans, they are not supposed to be able to do this. Yet they had. And that was only the beginning. The Galactic Council's Emergency Summit. In the shining marble chambers of the Galactic Council, representatives gathered with grim faces. Holographic stars floated above the central table, marking human fleet movements, bold, unpredictable, relentless. Elder Vale of the Threx Dominion slammed his staff. Humans were primitive last decade. How are they cutting across our borders? Ambassador Shira of the Valari sighed softly. We underestimated a species capable of turning weakness into strength. The Corvian representative, feathers trembling with rage, hissed. They killed our supreme strategist. And you invaded their home, another replied coldly. The chamber erupted into arguments, fear, pride, confusion. But one fact was undeniable. Humanity was adapting too fast. Aboard the human flagship Resolute, Commander Maya Arden stood over the star map as new data streamed in. Her voice was calm, steady, iron wrapped in silk. Status. Lieutenant Reeve reported. Corvian battle group advancing from the Helix corridor. But we intercepted their command packets. Their left flank is blind. And the coalition support? Valari scouts and Vorn engineers waiting for your order. They trust you, ma'am. Maya smiled faintly. Then let's show them why humanity survives. Behind her, Captain Elias Corinne adjusted his gauntlet. His once calm blue eyes now held fire. They're scared of us now, he murmured. They should be, Maya replied. The Battle of the Fractured Rings. The Resolute emerged from warp into the shimmering debris field known as the Fractured Rings. Ahead floated a Corvian armada, 4 dreadnoughts, dozens of cruisers, hundreds of fighters. Their shimmering green energy nets glowed like the jaws of a predator. A message cut through the comms. Human fleet, surrender or be extinguished. This region is ours. Captain Corinne stepped forward and transmitted a reply. His voice was calm, steady, cold. You came to our planet. You burned our cities. You called us weak. Now you learn the truth. He raised his hand. Open fire. Humanity's secret weapon. From the belly of the Resolute descended swarms of drones, sleek, angular machines humming with blue-white plasma. The Corvians scoffed. To them drones were toys. Until the first human drone detonated near a Corvian cruiser. Not explosive. Not destructive. Disruptive. The ship's shields flickered. Its targeting system scrambled. Engines sputtered. Humanity's greatest strength was not brute power. It was ingenuity. Maya shouted over the comms. Phase 2 now. Human cruisers burst from hiding behind the debris field, firing precise ion beams at disabled Corvian points. The dreadnoughts roared to life, unleashing planet-killer cannons, but they fired too late. Human fighters surged forward using irregular, chaotic flight paths no alien AI could predict. Dodging. Rolling. Striking. One Corvian commander gasped. These patterns, they are acting like they want to be unpredictable. His second-in-command whispered. They are improvising, in real time. And that realization chilled him more than the plasma fire outside. The moment the galaxy realized the truth. On the surface of a shattered ring fragment, a Valari scout ship watched the battle unfold. Its captain recorded every moment, voice trembling. Humans, their pilots ignore standardized formations. They adapt every second. They fight as if their instincts are bonded to the ship. Her eyes widened as a human fighter spiraled between two Corvian cruisers, skimmed the hull of a battleship, then launched a plasma spear directly into the engine well. One ship. One pilot. One impossible maneuver. And they do not fear death, she whispered. The collapse of the Corvian line. As the human drones continued scrambling systems, the enormous Corvian dreadnoughts attempted to retreat into warp. But the Resolute unleashed its final secret. The graviton web, a human-engineered gravitational net that dragged the entire Corvian formation out of warp alignment. The alien tacticians screamed in disbelief. This shouldn't exist. They weren't capable of this level of research. They're advancing at a rate beyond prediction. Captain Corinne delivered the final blow. Humanity is done being underestimated. The Resolute's main cannon fired. A beam of compressed stellar plasma tore through the lead dreadnought. Silence hit the battlefield. Then the dreadnought exploded like a dying star. The aftermath. Hours later, the battlefield lay quiet. Human salvage drones collected fragments. Valari allies hovered nearby, stunned by what they had witnessed. Maya stood on the observation deck, staring at the floating remains of Corvian wreckage. Elias stepped beside her. You think the galaxy understands now? Maya exhaled slowly. No, she said. Not yet. But after tomorrow, they will. The final battle was approaching. The Corvian Empire was wounded, but desperate. Cornered enemies were dangerous. Humanity had only one chance left to end the war. And they were going to take it. The galaxy trembled. Word spread across star systems faster than warp light. The Corvian Empire had suffered its first true defeat in 1,000 years, at the hands of humans. Billions watched unstable news feeds, studying the battle footage again and again. A small Earthborn fleet had shattered a dreadnought armada. But the Corvians were not defeated. They were enraged. Deep in the crimson heart of the Corvian Empire, the High Nest convened. Thousands of armored wings glittered beneath glowing spores that acted as lamps. Overlord Krasith rose from its throne. Its voice echoed like metal dragged across stone. We gave the humans 1 century to become obedient. They defied us. We will burn their world. We will make an example no species will forget. 1 billion Corvian soldiers screeched in approval. It was the beginning of the final push. Aboard the human flagship Resolute, Commander Maya Arden stood before her officers. Human, Valari, Vorn, and even a few neutral SYH delegates filled the war room. A gigantic hologram of the enemy fleet filled the air, a dense cloud of red markers stretching across half a galaxy. The Corvians were sending everything. Every dreadnought. Every siege barge. Every Reaper wing fighter. Human officers exchanged worried glances, but Maya's voice stayed calm. This is the largest hostile fleet ever recorded. If they break through Earth's defensive ring, everything ends. Captain Elias Corinne leaned forward. So what's our plan? We can't outgun them. No, Maya said. We outthink them. The galaxy had always relied on tradition, on slow, predictable strategies tested over centuries. Humans had no such tradition. They fought like improvisers, like survivors. And today they would fight like something more. The final battlefield, the luminous expanse. The luminous expanse was a vast region of space filled with glittering ion storms. No empire ever fought here. Navigation was too dangerous. But humanity had studied its storms, learned its patterns, mapped its electric tides. Because danger was the one environment where humans excelled more than any species. As the Corvian superfleet arrived, shimmering crimson ships filled the void like a second universe. A transmission crackled through. Human fleet, surrender. Your galaxy has chosen evolution without you. Maya stepped forward and transmitted her reply. Evolution? You don't understand humans at all. We don't evolve slowly. We jump. She turned to her officers. Execute Operation Paradox. The battle that should have been impossible. Human ships dove into the ion storms, harnessing raw electrical currents to supercharge their shields. The Corvians hesitated. Storms like these tore armor apart. But hesitation was all humanity needed. From within the blue glow of the storms, the human fleet emerged like phantoms, firing ion blasts that danced across enemy hulls. Drone swarms burst from every direction, scattering into unpredictable cloud formations. Corvian targeting AI couldn't track them. They weren't acting like machines. They were acting like thoughts. Chaotic. Fluid. Human. Corvian dreadnoughts attempted to flank, but the storm currents shifted unpredictably. Maya smiled. Exactly as planned. We're using the storm's gravity shear to pull them out of formation, she said. Elias laughed under his breath. You're turning the battlefield into a weapon. Maya's eyes hardened. No. Into a message. The moment humanity ascended. As the Corvian fleet tried to stabilize, the Resolute activated its core project. The quantum echo drive. A shimmering distortion rippled across space. Then another. Then 10 more. Corvian commanders shrieked in disbelief. Their fleet? It's multiplying? No. Not multiplying. Simulating. Dozens of phantom fleets appeared, each mimicking human maneuvers with randomized variation. The Corvian AI collapsed under the impossible task of predicting them. Their formation broke. Their discipline vanished. And the moment the line fractured, the Resolute punched through the heart of the enemy armada. Elias stood tall. For Earth. The cannon fired. A colossal beam of compressed starlight tore through the Corvian flagship, vaporizing its core. Shockwaves rippled across the fleet. Panic spread. For the first time in their history, the Corvians fled. The fall of the High Nest. Human special ops dropped onto the Corvian capital world. They expected resistance. They expected traps. Instead they found silence. Corvian soldiers knelt. Their wings dimmed with fear. In the throne chamber, Maya Arden faced Overlord Krozith. The mighty ruler spoke in a trembling rasp. What are your people? Maya walked closer, her footsteps echoing. You think strength comes from power. You think dominance comes from age. But humans learn faster. Adapt faster. Change faster than any species. Krozith hissed. You're unpredictable. Dangerous. Exactly. Maya raised her hand. And that is why we survived deep space. And why we're not done. The Overlord bowed. The war was over. The new dawn. Months later, the Galactic Council convened again. But this time, the upper seat, traditionally reserved for the most dominant species, was filled by a human. Captain Elias Corinne. Representatives watched in silence as he rose to speak. This war didn't make humanity strong. It revealed what we always were. We are explorers, builders, survivors, and when pushed, we become something the galaxy has never seen. He looked around the chamber. We are ready to lead. Across the galaxy, species nodded. Slowly, respectfully, fearfully. Humanity had risen. From an underestimated world, mocked and dismissed, to the species that redefined the balance of power. Final scene, Earth. Commander Maya Arden stood on a hill overlooking the Pacific horizon. Warships drifted quietly in the sky above. Elias joined her. It's strange, he said softly. We saved the galaxy. But it still feels like the beginning. Maya smiled. Oh, it is. Because now they know what humans really are. Which is? He asked. She turned toward the stars. Limitless. The camera would fade out. Music swells. Earth glows beneath the rising dawn. Humanity had claimed its place in the cosmos. Not as victims. Not as prey. But as the species the galaxy would never underestimate again.